Hey you guys, Jared Bingle here with Lawn Rescue. I want to thank you for coming and watching the video. First off, I want to start with thank you guys for all the likes, the views, the subscriptions, and all that stuff. Putting out these videos is a lot of work, takes up a lot of time, so I really do appreciate it when you hit the like button and subscribe. Today I've got this Ego 21-inch mower. It's brand new, and we're going to go ahead and get it unboxed and run it through the yard. So first things first, this thing's kind of heavy. Well, it only weighs about 90 pounds, but it's just really big, so we're going to put it on the ground and get it opened up. So the first thing I want to say about this is I like the packaging. It looks really good. Looks like they put a lot of time and effort into the design of the box and everything. I'm pretty pleased with Ego's equipment. I used to have some a couple years ago and it worked really well, but it just didn't suit my needs at the time. But we'll try it now, a couple years down the road. So here's the charger. Looks like we got the bag for it. Instruction manual, side discharge, a few blades, the battery, the 7.5 amp hour battery. While we're unboxing this thing, I'll plug up the battery and the charger into the wall socket and we'll get this thing juiced up. So we'll just slide the battery onto the rapid charger. They say it takes about an hour when it's fully dead to charge up, so we'll see. And apparently it makes a little bit of noise. As always, we don't need no stinking directions. So let's just start off with the underside. This will be a plastic deck. This does have the select cut, so you'll have two blades. It's got the mulching blade on it currently, and right here is the mulching insert that I'll show you later. I wasn't too fond of the whole plastic deck idea, but it does come with its pros. It is lighter, so it's easier to carry and easier to stow and stuff. But I don't like the fact that it's plastic because you get a lot of damage when mowing other people's yards. So if you have a yard that's nice and even and doesn't have rocks and stuff, then it's not as much of a deal. But using it in a commercial setting like I will, you know, people have rocks and stuff throughout their yard, and I'm just curious to see how it's going to hold up to all the debris and stuff. So as it sits right now, you can stow it as it is on all four wheels, or you can set it upright. It's got two little rubber stands down here and it sits on the other two wheels, and that's how it stands up. To swing the handlebars up to where you can use them, you just take this lever right here and pull it in and then lift up. It's got three different settings, 1, 2, and 3. There are 3 positions when you're swinging the handlebars up and down. There's high, medium, and low. I'm going to use it on high since I'm a pretty tall guy. Once you get it into the position you want, pull the handlebars out after you unlock these 2 tabs. Once you get it in place, lock them like I just did, and you're ready to go. Next, let's go over the mulching insert and the side discharge. In here you can see there's a little insert that you can pull out. That's for mulching. If you want a side discharge, this is a little odd, but you just put it in there like that, and then the lid closes and holds it in place, and it discharges out the side. If you try moving it around, it seems like it's fairly sturdy, although it may not look like it at first glance, but it'll stay in there pretty well. This unit does come with a bagger, although I don't recommend that you do that because you want to keep all the clippings and stuff in the yard unless you have an abundance of thatch. But you want to keep all that stuff in the yard because it's got a lot of nutrients that you're putting back down into the soil, and so you don't have to fertilize as much. To install this, you just lift up the back, take the bag and connect it right in there, close the lid, and that's it. Now the bag is going to kind of sit down on itself, but once you start using it and getting some airflow going through here, this will pop back up and inflate, and all the clippings will shoot into the back of the bag. Now, an issue with the old mowers that I noticed was that when you had the high lift blade on there for bagging, or the bagging blade, it would not fill up the bag all the way, and it would start getting clumped up, and you had to take more trips out to the curb to dump your stuff, or to the trash can, or wherever you dump your clippings. And allegedly they fixed that problem. So let's take a look at the different blades that come on this unit. You've got 3 different blades. You've got your high lift blade, which is for like bagging and side discharge. Then you'll have your mulching blade, which is going to tear up the grass clippings a lot finer than these other 2 blades. And then you've got your high efficiency blade. This is going to help with your battery time when you're mowing, because it's got less drag on it. And then this blade right here is going to be your upper blade. And this is gonna be used in conjunction with all 3 of these blades. Let's check out cutting height. You've got the cut adjuster here, and you've got settings 1 through 8. That's gonna be 1 inch through 4 inches. I'm gonna be cutting at 3 inches today, and so we're gonna put it on the number 6. Now, it would be really nice if Ego were to put the inches on the setting itself instead of 1 through 8, because then you have to go into the owner's manual and look up what the actual height's gonna be. Now, this might be a tactic on Ego's end to get you into the owner's manual, but still, it'd be a lot easier if you had it on the actual selector. We're up to full charge now. That took somewhere around an hour, and it was, I want to say it was between 25 and 50%. Now, operating this unit, you've got the handlebar right here. That's going to turn on your blades when you hit the button. These buttons here on the handle are going to activate the propulsion system, and it's got a little bit of lag to it. This is going to be your selector switch for your speed. You've got low and high, and also down here you've got an indicator light, and it tells you, it's got a little guide right here as to what the lights are going to mean. Also, you've got your LED lights right here, your headlights you can turn off and on. And there's 3 on each side. There used to be only 2, and allegedly they're a lot brighter at night than the old ones. All right, so we got the backyard done. It's about 6,500 square feet. Let's see where the battery's at. So we've only used 1 out of the 5 different little parts of the circle, which is pretty good. The last time I got one of these, I was only able to get maybe, I'd say probably 3,000 square feet in before it ran out of battery. Now I think that was also the 4 or 5 amp hour battery, and this is a 7.5, but still they've come a long way, at least in the last 1.5 to 2 years with their battery life. The blades are still fairly sharp. I'm actually kind of surprised at how well they kept the sharpness on them after cutting all that. But overall, this is a pretty good mower. So getting into the pros and cons of this, I do like the weight. It's a lot lighter than a gas-powered mower, which is really nice. I can store it upright so that on the trailer I can get rid of the gas mower, and then I can put this just up on its up end, off to the side somewhere, kind of out of the way, so it saves a little bit of space. I don't have to worry about buying gas. I don't have to worry about oil changes on it, so that's a big plus. And also a little bit of money saved, even though this does cost more than a gas-powered mower. This one ended up costing, after the discount, it ended up being about $610, $620, somewhere in there. I think the regular price on it's like $699, so you will pay more for it, but it is a pretty good mower. Another upside is going to be the self-propulsion system. I do like having that on my push mowers. I would like to see this one go a little bit faster though, because I felt like I was about to be walking backwards if I were to go any slower. I did notice that when it started to get bogged down a little bit, it started spooling up. It recognized that the RPMs were dropping, and it gave a little bit more juice to get the blade spinning faster, so I like that about it. You don't get that on gas mowers, so that helps it keep from stalling out. You can stall these things out if you get into some really thick stuff, but I do like that. Another plus side is its battery. You don't have to go out and buy gas like I said earlier. A downside to it is it's not gas. So you can't run down to the gas station and buy some gas if you run out. You got to sit there and let this thing charge. If you got extra batteries, then you don't really have to worry about that. But those things are kind of expensive, several $100s just for one battery. So there's a little give and take there. Going back to the weight of this thing, yes, it is a lot lighter than a steel deck mower, which I love that it's lightweight. But on the same page, it is a lot lighter because it's plastic and not steel, so you take the risk of breaking the deck a lot easier than you would with a steel mower. So there's also give and take there. Another plus, I have seen leaps and bounds in the battery life of these things. When I bought one about 2 years ago, I couldn't even get half of my yard done. I could probably get about maybe half of the backyard done. I still had to do the other half plus the front and the side. So this thing lasted the entire backyard and only used 1 out of the 5 bars. So I bet you could probably do at least 30,000, if not 40,000 square feet, depending on, you know, how tall the grass is and how hard it's got to work, if you're using the self-propulsion system, stuff like that. So depending on all these different factors, you may get a little bit more or a little less battery life out of it. Now, a downside to this mower unit is the settings on the selector, height selector, is kind of off. The book was saying that the number 6 position was going to be 3 inches, but when I went to go cut on the number 6, it didn't cut anything. So I had to back it down to a 5, and I just saw just a little bit taken off, and so I backed it back down to a number 4, and that started taking off a little bit. Not even a whole lot either. But I usually cut this yard at a 3 right now on the 0 turn, and it generally takes off a decent little bit, at least noticeable. But like I said, it didn't really take off much on even the number 4 setting here. A downside to this unit is it didn't mulch really well. I still had a little bit of clippings left over from the last cut, probably 4 or 5 days ago, and that had been browned and dried out, and it didn't mulch those up as well as I'd like to, and it was just sitting on the top. So that is one downside to this unit. It doesn't seem to do a very good job of mulching. And mind you, that is with the mulching blade on the unit. As for the maneuverability of this unit, I like it. It's really lightweight when you're pushing down to try and do a turn. And a lot of times I didn't even have to push down. I could just slide the front wheels over and do a U-turn. So the maneuverability on it's really good. Going back to the selector switch for the height, or the cut height, it is really easy to switch from one to the other. The reason being is just since it's so light, it's easier to change from one setting to the next. Whereas gas-powered ones, you kind of gotta lift up on it and finagle it and make sure it doesn't move on you and all kinds of other junk. This one's really easy to change the cut settings. Another pro that I'd like to see other lawn mowing companies start doing is putting in extra blades in there. So not only do you have the mulching blade that comes on it, but you've got the high efficiency for longer battery life, and also the high lift blade for when you're like side discharging and bagging. I'd really like to see other companies start doing that, because you only get one blade and then you got to go out and buy other kinds of blades. So it's nice to have options in the box when you buy it. So overall, this unit's really good. It does not leave much to be desired in the lines of lawnmowers. Just a summary, I like it's battery powered. I don't like that it's battery powered at the same time. So there's a little bit of give and take on either side. The weight's really good, the maneuverability is really good, and the weight is also really good, and the fact that you can store it up on its end, where you can't do that with gas powered motors. I like the fact that it doesn't have a lot of maintenance that comes along with it. There is some which you got to look in the user's manual before you start using this thing. But overall, it's a pretty good unit. I'll update you guys here in about 2 months or so as to how it's going with this thing. I don't really use a push mower a whole lot, but there are a couple yards that I do have a few areas that I have to cut with a push mower. So I'll update you guys on that here in a couple months. As always, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment about what you like and dislike about this unit if you have one. Also let me know what kind of content you want me to put out, and I'll see you in the next video.